What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Sports. I'm Trevor, your host. Alex, my co host here. We're talking Warrior basketball today. And hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification. I'll let you know when I'm live or we're live or there is a podcast that's new. You can check it out. Okay, Warriors lose the other night. 1-0. Let me check that score because I don't want to be wrong here, but I believe it was 101, 104. The Warriors had the lead for 90% of that game, but they gave it up in the fourth quarter to a Raptors team who is right now, I believe, 9-31. Really bad team. And so the question is are the Warriors this bad? Right now, we know even from what Steve Kerr is saying, we know Draymond and Steph Curry are supposedly on the downside of their career. That may be true, but when you watch them play, I'd say Draymond might be a little bit further along on the downside of his career than Curry. Curry is still putting up numbers, but when you look at some of these numbers, you have to ask yourself: is it Curry on the decline, or is it the rest of the team just not picking up their weight? This team sucks, and it's not because of Curry. Andrew Wiggins got 20 points. That's respectable. Buddy Hield is still playing like a subpar player. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. He scored 8 points in 33 minutes. Trace Jackson Davis only got 3 points. They didn't really use him very well in 30 minutes. Steph Curry went off for 26 points in 35 minutes. It's fine. I'd like to see him get closer to 30 points. Schroeder got 12 points. He's right there in that like 12 to 14 points. Fine off the bench. I don't like him as a starter necessarily. Great off the bench, though. Lindy Waters is doing great on defense, but his offense doesn't really show at 8 points. Kyle Anderson showed up a little bit in this last game, scoring 13 points. Kevon Looney had 10. But by and large, the whole team kind of just is not picking up the slack. It's very frustrating to watch. And I think at this point, I'm kind of ready to just say this team is not a very good team. That being said, neither is a lot of other teams in the league because right now they're sitting at the 12th spot outside of the playing game at 19 and 20. But if you look at the number 6 spot that the Mavericks have, they're 22 and 18. They're not far off. Should they make a move? What do you think, Alex? Where are we at, man? Should this team start tanking for a good playoff or a good draft pick, or do you think that this team is salvageable? Do you think they can kind of pick it up and make something out of this year after all? I don't know.
I mean, they're a 500 team, so I would trade. I would explore trades if it was the right one. I
Yeah.
mean, if you are rebuilding for the future or whatever, and you want to not make anything drastic or give away like Draymond or Wiggins or Kaminga, I mean, for a player who might leave or whatever, I could see that. But if you are going to uh like, let's say you blow up the team. Let's say you trade away Draymond, you get some draft picks. I'm not saying to trade him away 'cause he's been doing okay. He's been doing fine. Like, it's never been his job to score. Like, what
Yeah, I
are,
don't think you're going to trade him. I just don't. You know what? A name that keeps coming up that I
I don't
really
think he's doing
like is
badly.
Nikola Vucevic, I think I'm saying, or Vukovic from the Bulls. He's a center. He can play. He can shoot. I mean, he can shoot. He can run. Um, he's got the height. I mean, this guy, he's 6'10", not bad, 260 pounds. Um, he was born in 1994, so he's 34 years old. He's a little older, but I mean, that might be something to explore. We keep talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, like Draymond's numbers, his assists from like 2020 have been steadily declining.
Yeah.
8.9 to 7 to 6.8 to 6 to 5.6. His rebounds just dipped this year, although they were pretty steady last year. And his points are pretty much where they've always been.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you look at Schroeder, I mean, but they've also got a worse team. So would his assist numbers go up if they had a center who could,
They might
really?
be overcompensating. There's no doubt about it. Draymond Green and Steph Curry might be trying to overcompensate for a bad team. They're taking shots they wouldn't normally take. They're missing some shots that they normally
Yeah.
would make. So the team is just not good. And when you hear Curry say something like, we're not going to mortgage the future to win now, well, I get that to a certain extent, but does that mean that they've already talked about it and a trade isn't in the cards at this point? Or are they just saying we're not giving away the farm, we're going to sit back and be patient? Maybe that's what they're saying, and maybe that's what they should do. I've always been on the side of being patient, but when you hear Curry come out and say that, it kind of makes me wonder, are they going to make a move or are they going to just wait until the offseason and try to improve?
Or
I
is it just bluster? I mean, he's
Yeah,
36 going on
yeah,
37.
yeah,
How long does he plan to play? Is he going to be part of any rebuild? Like, I'm not saying you go absolute, you have to win this year, blow it up, but you
yeah.
kind of have to blow it up a little bit.
You
Like,
do. You do.
like,
And well, are they in a rebuild already? Aren't they kind of like look at the players they have on their team. They
yeah,
kind of are in a rebuild right now, although they're not saying it. It's all there. I mean, Buddy Hield's new. He's not draft he's not somebody they drafted, but he's a new player. Dennis Schroeder is a guy they'll keep for a little bit, I think. But otherwise, Anderson, Waters, Looney has been around for a while. Moody's only been in the league 3.5 years, 4 years. You got Santos, who's actually playing. If there's a shining spot in this team right now, it's Santos, the way he's playing defense and just going out there and hustling. I love watching this guy play. He didn't get any points, but
you have
these
nobody
guys
else who can
are
score 20.
they've got a lot of rookies though, as or not a lot of rookies, but a lot of young players. You have It's a delicate balance, I get it, but you got to make a move. In my mind, you got to make a move just to get a guy build for next year then, but get him now. Like there's some players out
Yeah,
there. This
he'll be
center,
37 before the season's over.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
How much he isn't like, I'm sorry, mortgage your future or the Warriors' future because
well,
you don't
that's
have
it.
much of a future.
Yeah. Well,
I
Curry is
mean,
being very selfless by saying the franchise is
yeah,
not going to mortgage their future, which is obviously he's saying no matter how well or how bad we do, we're going to build this team up, whether I'm a part of it or not. It almost sounds like he's saying we're not going to mortgage the future to win now. I don't believe that, by the way. I don't believe that shit for a minute. I do think that they're going to make a trade. I think that's, like you said, a little bit of noise,
yeah.
a little bit
I
of white
mean,
noise. Yeah.
Draymond's going to turn 35, which isn't as bad. Like, I
Yeah.
almost think you need to worry more. I almost think Draymond should be saying that rather than Curry. Like, because
Yeah.
Draymond, if you get the right players, his stats are going to go right back up. He was never that much of a scorer. He'll always be decently, good rebounding. He's 6'6". He's going to be fine,
Yeah.
but
But look
he's
at his 3-point percentage right now. Actually, his 3-point percentage is the best I think has ever had in his career. He's
Draymond.
shooting 3-point Draymond. He's
Yeah.
shooting at like 40 something percent, or was until the other night, maybe. I don't know. But he's around 40 something percent 3-point from the 3-point
Yeah.
line. So
I think they
yeah.
do make a trade. I think I wouldn't trust anything they say until after the trade deadline,
Yeah.
and then I would believe it. But I
Yep.
think that if you can't tell me that Wiggins is untradeable if that center from the Bulls, see how I dodged the pronunciation,
Yeah.
gaff.
Yep.
If
Nikola Vucevic. He's
Vukovic is
Yeah.
if he is available, and you can take Wiggins and I don't know Gary Payton and
Vukovic.
Santos and be like, here you go. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, like they're gonna do it because
There's
you have
nobody on
nobody
this
else
team
who's
that's
scoring 20.
untradeable in my mind. I'll tell you
Huh?
that much. I'm watching the garbage that's going on out there. I'm kind of partial to Moses Moody, even though he doesn't get a lot of playing time. Dennis Schroeder, I would keep. Steph Curry, obviously, you keep. Trace Jackson Davis, I would keep because I think he's got a future.
Yeah,
Andrew Wiggins, I'd like to keep, but if you have to trade him, you trade him. I mean, those are the guys I keep, and everybody else. Buddy Hield is up for auction. Waters is fine. Anderson, Looney, Santos. I mean, even Santos is new. You're not going to get anything for him. You might want to watch how he plays and see where it goes. But by and large, most everybody on the team should be, you know, up for sale as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. I don't see why you wouldn't be, especially if you're at the trade deadline and you're like, we're 500. But if we get this guy, like you're very much still in it. If you were
Yeah.
very much out of it, I would understand Curry's that line of thinking where it's like, excuse me, you don't want to mortgage the future.
No.
It's like,
I
yeah,
mean,
fair
if you
enough. You
look,
guys aren't going to make the playoffs. Why would you do that if that was the case?
yeah.
But
I mean,
if
if
you
you could
are in
tank
it,
and you could get somebody like Flagged, who's coming out from of college playing for Duke, looking like the next Michael Jordan, basically. You could do that, but tanking that would be really, really hard. The Wizards are 6-32. The New Orleans Pelicans are 9-32. Um, those guys are definitely going for it. The Utah's Jazz is 10-28. They're going to be tanking. So if they won as many as the Warriors have won right now at 19, I'd be surprised. So you're not getting the number one overall pick for that. You're not. So
I mean, yeah, when is the
doesn't
trade
make sense.
deadline?
The 6th of next month. February 6th, I believe, is the date.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you-
So they got,
I
you know, they got time. They got time to wait it out. I think that's kind of what Curry is trying to say. We're not going to
yeah,
mortgage our future, which means we're going to wait till the last
it's
possible
got to be a
minute,
great
see
deal.
what we get on a discount.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I can't imagine, and I think I would be like, listen, I would throw in Wiggins and Looney for the Bull Center, and then maybe a
Yeah.
couple, other guys. Like you, if you're 500, or even if you're, especially if you're like 2 games over 500, you're like, oh, we're here and we're kind of, garbage.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if they're 10 games under 500 at that point, yeah, don't mortgage the future.
Yeah. And
You
it
know,
doesn't
you
matter. One player isn't going to make a difference, which brings me to that point. Does this guy make a difference? Does Nikola Vucevic,
yes.
I'm messing his name up. Vucevic, whatever, however I pronounce his name, I know I'm messing it up. If he can come in and make a difference, uh, by
Yes.
himself, fine. If he's going to come in and make a little bit of a difference and we're still in dead last, that contract has to go through till next year or however many years. I mean, it doesn't make sense to make a move for a guy. I don't know what that contract would be. I'm just saying it doesn't make sense to make a move for a guy who's on a loan for just this year. At this point, whatever move they make, it's got to be for now and maybe next year or the year after, just so they have time to gel.
This guy
Because
makes a
there's no,
difference.
yeah,
Yesterday, he scored in 35 minutes, 22 points, 2 assists, and 15 rebounds.
yeah,
Go look
yep,
at like the Warrior. Like if you find a Warrior with like 8 rebounds, he's like Kareem
yeah.
to the Warriors. Like he is
I agree. And they're better
Looney's.
with their rebounds this year,
Yeah,
is the
they do
funny thing.
not like. And I just this guy's a 20
Yeah.
and 10 machine. Like
Yep.
15 rebounds. I dream of that kind. I know it's not as sexy as like as it used to be, but rebounds are
I'd
pretty
be
cool
pretty
to me.
happy with it right now. And the
Yeah,
noise keeps getting louder with him. I would be surprised if a move wasn't made, and I'd be really surprised if it wasn't for him. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that's the guy I'm looking at that could make a big difference and help out with the Warriors, and they could give it away. I mean, it could be Looney and some. The thing is, you may not have to give away somebody like Wiggins and Looney. You might be able to get away with keeping maybe Wiggins and giving away maybe Looney and another guy. I don't know who. Moody maybe or somebody off the bench. You could flip Schroeder if you want. I don't think I'd flip him. I still think I wouldn't get rid of him necessarily. But there's players out there that I think before Wiggins they could make that deal with the Bulls. But they should make that deal, I think. I think that's something they should do. Kerr even went on the radio yesterday and basically said on 95.7 The Game that him and Curry, and I mean Kerr and Curry and Green have all had conversations, and they know they're on the downside of their career, and this is just what it looks like. Well, yes and no. They are. Curry has peaked, but he's still playing really, really good basketball. I would not start talking like this is the end. He has at least 2 or 3 more years of good basketball in him. I believe that. Maybe more. Who knows? He stays in good shape. Maybe more. So I would not sit there and have a conversation as if somebody's dying. This is not necessarily over yet. Green, like I said, a little bit more on the downside. You mentioned his numbers. He's but still not worth necessarily trading yet. So
it's
we'll see
also a
how it
terrible
goes. It's
team.
tough. It's tough to watch these guys.
If you look at like Warrior, if you Google Warriors trade rumors, he's Vukovic is the most discussed
Yeah,
trade rumor. So, and I would think that that guy, if Draymond just goes whoop, or Schroeder or Curry,
yeah,
like all those assist numbers go up. That guy, I think, would make a huge difference. And I don't think you'd really be losing all that much because it looks like that guy wants to be that guy every night.
Yeah.
Whereas Wiggins is like, yeah, Wiggins can score 20. Wiggins can also score 10.
Yeah.
Wiggins doesn't always want to be the number two. He wants to be like a number three or a Swiss Army. He can
Yep.
very much help a team if he's used properly. But Vukovic is that I want to be that guy. And
Yep.
especially as Curry gets older, man, what a luxury for Curry to be like, listen, I can happily, play 30 minutes, 35 minutes a night, make 20 something points, put another couple rings. You go be the guy. I don't care. And
Yeah.
Curry's never cared. He gave
No.
away some prime years, not prime, because he still scored enough. He let Durant be the number one option. He like, I don't care. I want
Yeah.
rings. I do not
Yep.
care. He's
Yep.
that kind of guy. He
He
could
is.
probably have a couple thousand more points, not saying like 5,000 more. He'd probably have a little bit more, but he wanted Durant to be on the team. He said, I'll give up a certain number of shots. I mean, Klay Thompson probably as well, because he
Yep.
seems like that kind of guy. But Curry, you think if they like come to him, they're like, hey, he might be the number one option. Curry's going to be like, no. And Curry's going to just look at his fingers and go, number five.
Mm-hmm.
Switch to the other
Yep.
hand, put the
And
rings on the other hand.
that's what it's all about right there, winning chips. And
Yep.
that's what he's all about. And I know he wants to stay on the Warriors. I know trading Curry is not an option. That's never going to happen. I don't think. That would be crazy.
No,
So,
I don't think they'll do it.
um,
I think he's just basically saying, let's not trade the future. I take that to mean go for that Vukovic type trade where it don't go for like Jimmy Butler. That
yeah,
doesn't help the team. That blows up the team and mortgages the future.
right.
But a trade for a 20 and 10 center,
That
that doesn't
doesn't
trade
seem
the
bad.
future. That is the future.
I agree. And
And
we're
I
going to be
think that's
talking
sort
about
of what
this
he
for a
probably is
few
saying.
weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think the move is going to get made right now. Maybe it will. Who knows? Maybe it's going to be soon, but with the deadline getting that close, there's going to be back and forth talks about that trade. I think that trade is really, I think it's very possible. Very, very possible. I'll be excited for it
Oh,
if
it'd be
we get
great.
that.
A good big man who can wreck shop.
Yeah.
And when the Warriors haven't had that, like with the best, with Bogut, that wasn't like Bogut when he was first starting out, scored a little bit, but he was never that guy. We've
No.
never had a 20 and 10 center kind of person.
Not a true
And
center
it's
that can
yeah,
score and yeah, not at
God, it
all.
will make Curry's final years of his prime. And by the way, he might just sit there and be like, crap, I'll play past 40.
He
Sure.
might. I mean, look at
Like,
LeBron James. He's playing past 40. LeBron
right, because
James
he's
the
got
other day
Anthony
said, I can
Davis.
play 6 or 7 more years. I
Yeah,
totally do not believe that. But he can play for a little while longer. I believe that he's
yeah,
still in the top 20%. When you look at the NBA, he's in the top 20% of the best players in the league still
yeah.
at 40. So can Curry still play at 40? Absolutely.
He
I
can
would
hit a
not
three-point
be.
shot. He can play till he dies.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can hit that
Yeah.
shot,
Give him a
he's
cane and
Steve
just have
Kerr.
him out there on the 3-point line
Yeah.
and just anyway. Well, all right, guys. I wish I could talk more, but I gotta get going. So everybody, thank you for watching today. We'll talk more Warriors as we get more news. Let's hope for a win tonight. They are playing Minnesota at 6:30. Tune in for that. We'll have another Warriors talk next Wednesday. I might try to get, like I said before, I'm going to try and get another one in because that's a week away from now. There's a few games that'll happen. I'd like for Alex and us to talk a little bit more about the Warriors instead of having such a big gap. So we'll see. But anyway, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, remember. And thank you for watching us. And we'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is, I believe, what do we got? Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow's athletics. Tomorrow's A's talk. I don't know how much we're going to really be able to talk about that, to be honest. There's not much news. Um, we might flip that for either a Giants or a Warriors talk because the Warriors play tonight. We might flip that for a Warriors podcast again tomorrow. There's not much to talk about with the A's, guys. So, anyway, we'll see you in the next one. And thank you very much. See you next time.